Yeah, definitely, man. I missed the last week's lesson. Definitely, I realized the difference in like sort of the week, and then having the break. It was a little different psychologically because there wasn't that like that deadline, but it was good though. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Even with everything that I know about like all the different exercises that I've seen over the past, however many years, it's still kind of weird to me how those weird exercises turn into real singing, like how they condition the vocal cords and stuff. I don't want to think about it too much in the sense that, like, I don't want it to seem that I'm not into it. It's just, it's still a mystery on how those create the real voice.
Yeah. Well, they're just, I mean, I think like one of the things that people don't necessarily get when they start is that it's you're just making sounds when you sing. There are certain rules in terms of these are the types of sounds that are more desirable than others. But I mean, it's kind of broad, in metal and things, there's like all kinds of sounds that wouldn't be acceptable sounds in like classical or
Hmm.
pop music. And yeah, certainly some sounds are more likely to harm you than others. But a lot of the exercises are just, they're purely functional sounds, so they're not really, they Brett thinks about it from basically a complete separation between technique and the actual mechanics of what you're doing,
Hmm.
and then the artistry you put on top of that.
Yeah,
So in that respect, he's not concerned whether a sound is pretty,
yeah,
just concerned whether it's what the voice is working efficiently when you
yes.
make it.
And I
Because
mean,
you can make a sound that sounded kind of pretty but is functionally off.
yeah,
You can make a sound that sounds ugly but is functionally correct. So part of all the strange sounds and things um, is that idea, but also uh, a lot of those sounds also help people get out of the mindset of I need to sound like I'm
yes,
singing, or I am
yes.
supposed to sound pretty.
Here's the weird thing is that okay, so first, and I understand that the different things are more like what's the like you said, functional. Like for example, if you need a low larynx, then this is the sound to practice that, and then there's like I guess a muscle memory, and you kind of program that. The part that I guess is kind of weird when I'm watching all the different lessons, like not just the ones you sent, but just everything that I've ever seen. Um, when the teacher is working with a student, I guess what's weird is that every lesson there are different things. Like, okay, so it's almost like the student does something, and then the teacher is like, okay, now I want you to go meum, and then like then 20 minutes later, it's like, okay, so now I want you to go like go or something like that. And like every single lesson, like every lesson over like 20 videos, there's different things, and what's curious to me is okay, one is the teacher just hearing that the student just did something, they're noticing some kind of negative habit, and then they pull that tool out of the toolbox to fix that at that time. That's number one. And then number two, my question is like, because what's curious is that there's not like these five go-to exercises that strengthen the voice. Like that's the part that's kind of curious to me. So is it that these are all
Yeah,
diagnostic?
partly. So when we have sometimes what we expect to happen doesn't happen. So I'll be like, oh, let's do this progression of exercises. So we'll do one exercise, and then I'll be like, logically in my head, the next step will be this. But then when we do that, the singer does something completely unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, that's not going to lead them to the solution.
Cool, dude.
So
I love
it's
it.
like sometimes you have to just try something else. And it's always a case of sometimes you expect, like I have these things in my head where I'm like, oh yeah, I should have done this, and then if I'd done that at that moment, it would have led them this direction. But then often when I actually try that, it doesn't necessarily pan out how I'd expect. It's always
Mhm.
you're trying to like nudge the singer in the right direction, but it's always a case of responding to what they do when you say do
Yeah.
this exercise, and they'll do it like, okay, so part of that's right, but then we need to try and like take what's right about that, and then
and you take a tool out of the your toolbox, and you're like boob or something that'll do that thing. Yeah, that's
not
cool.
really an exact science in the sense of A, B, C. You
Yeah.
know, this is what you do first. Now you do this. Now you do this. Because unfortunately, everybody has a completely unique set of problems. There are lots in common with people,
and there's also then circumstantial. It's not even just like the person himself. Like I have my own things, but even day to day when we meet, there are new things on that day that also present themselves. So yeah, I guess you totally answered my question. Like it's purely diagnostic. You're using tools from your expertise to like respond to how I complete or don't complete the exercise.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. Well, last time you told me that like there was one exercise where I couldn't do something, and then like you just switched the sound, and then I did it no problem. Like it was actually completely different.
Yeah,
so
because to me the hard thing is that to me it's like they're just the same. So I'm like, well, how is it that you can do that one but not the other one? I understand that because when I think back, like you know when you said, "Oh, the Googs, man, I hate the Googs," or anything with G.
Yeah,
like, I used to hate that stuff as well. And if I think back, I can remember what it's like. It's like anytime there's certain sounds, like my throat would just clamp. And it's even somebody who's been through it, it's hard for me sometimes to think back that far and remember.
Yeah,
so you can imagine how almost impossible it is for somebody who's never had any of those issues to even relate to somebody that does.
Exactly.
Them, like they've never been there. So even for someone that has been there, it's still tricky to like remember back. But yeah, you're right.
Sometimes, you take it for granted that like what it was like to be a beginner. You do a good job though. Like, and you were smart because you recorded yourself in the past. Like you recorded some of those things. So like those examples you sent me, or the example of the past, and then something you sang recently. It's like that does the teaching. Like that was smart of you to do that and record that, because even if you don't like remember it top of mind, you could listen back to that recording and be like, oh yeah, I remember that time. I remember what I was doing and those tendencies.
It's weird though, when I listen to some of that stuff, and I mean this genuinely, I feel like I'm listening to somebody else now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that my technique's better or my singing's better. Really, like, to really get better as a singer, I had to actually change my personality.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was still trying to work to do that, but I was somebody that was very critical of others and very judgmental, and that's part of the reason I had so many problems as a singer, because all of that judgment and criticism I would put out to others.
Yeah, you brought it back to yourself. Yourself.
And so not you, but one has to kind of look into oneself and realize that some of the problems that one inevitably has as a singer can a lot of the time partly be caused by the kind of attitude you have about life. I think as well, I don't know, with me, singing just became this journey to become a better person as much as it was to be good on stage and stuff. I mean, you're into this as well, but if you embrace all that stuff, that's real key. Because even musicians, not just singers, the best musicians, they're not. It's most of the time they're quite kind of calm and open-minded and chilled out kind of people. Like you don't really get really anxious, kind of screwed up artists that are great. I mean, they do. You kind of do and don't. I mean, those people like Kurt Cobain or people that kill themselves and stuff. But they're kind of the basic temperament a lot of the time is quite kind of, I don't know, open. It's hard they're not like and they're not really insecure.
There you go. That quality for sure. Not like apprehensive. So yeah, for sure, dude. It's really interesting because like I'm the instrument, you're the instrument. Like with vocals, it's so crazy. Like you're the instrument, and like if you have like a clog or something in like in your instrument, a saxophone, or like if your guitar is cracked, then there's a buzz on it. Like if you got something on your mind, then you're not going to sing as well. Like it's crazy how abstract the concept of creating notes with your voice is. But you're saying that just staying with this, developing that muscle memory in those correct placements, and then it'll strengthen. That'll become the new habit.
Yeah, just you got to just trust in the process, and you know, as much as you trust teachers, you find kind of trust yourself to figure it out. You know, you've got to ultimately you kind of got to somehow in your head make sense of it all, separate it all out. The way I see it is at first you feel like you're in this dark room, and then you get these little bits of light where you can kind of all of a sudden you get a flash of, hang on, like there's something I understand, and then different bits kind of come together a bit, and as the light comes on in the room, you know, it's all just a big kind of jumbled mess. But then like you start being able to, you know, tidy stuff up, and you know, all right, this
organize it all.
Yeah, like this stuff goes over here, and then eventually like everything is in its own kind of box. You've got, you know, it all kind of makes sense, but it's just like I don't know. I feel like sometimes when I work with singers, when I listen back to myself, I feel like, why does it take so long? Because I mean, I almost feel ashamed sometimes when I think, man, it's taken me so long to figure like some basic things out. And then I was at open mic on Tuesday. Some dude got up and he's in a band, but you know, he's never like worked with a coach in his life. Just like sings really well just from scratch, and you know, it's that can be frustrating because it's not fair, you know.
I know. I hear you, man. I hear you.
It's all.
It's like you said, dude.
Like accepting, like, so I've been dealt this hand, and you know, yeah, it's going to be maybe potentially a bit more challenging for me, and it's not.
I wonder
fair.
what kind of person that guy is. See, like your comment about like that, it's like a sort of a reflection of you as a person. You had to change yourself as a person. I'm gonna have to change myself as a person. It's like that guy who sings well. I'd be interested in. I'd be interested in like meeting him, you know, and like finding out about him as personality.
I spoke to him a bit. Usually, they're not too fussed about. They're not too fussed about being great, being good. Like, they're just generally they're quite comfortable in their own skin. They're pretty like just calm people, and they're not particularly that bothered about how successful they are as
yeah.
Stuff. Like the sometimes the people who are least concerned about sounding good often sound really good.
Yeah, definitely.
The people who are most concerned about sounding good as singers are usually the worst singers.
Yeah, because it's just too psychological. Dude,
too conscious. You know, they don't just feel their way into it and allow their body and respond to the subtle kind of signals their body gives them. Like they try and consciously control the process too much.
Yes.
I mean, that's going to be, for somebody like you, that's going to be one of the main things. You know, when we talk about doing exercises quickly and not laboring too much, it's just to get you kind of going and not too consciously, you know, getting into you want to there needs to be some amount of consciousness, you know,
for maybe the broad the general concepts, but the specifics, it's that part I actually prevent myself from getting into as a whole, because I know I've experienced it on guitar where I just let go and I play something. Like I know those things that go into it, and
so you kind of know, like with the guitar and stuff, it's the same thing, you know. You rehearse the scale really slowly, and you know, when you're on stage or when you're performing, like you've just got to let it go and see what happens. And
I mean with the vocals, just because I can't see that, like sometimes, well, there's also some things that are foreign to me. Like I see on my finger going close to the fret, and I know that if I just pluck it with the pick, I'm gonna play that note with the vocals. And I even experienced this with recording Wicked Game. Like I was gonna do that a whole step lower. I was going to do that in A minor in A rather than A minor rather than B minor. And like I was going to do that, and it was kind of kind of like chickening out a little bit, and it's sort of like, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna do B. I'm gonna make it happen,
You should go for it. I was told many times, like, you know, like, oh, you're like, and it was true at the time. Like, people would say to me, oh, you're being too ambitious with your vocals and stuff. Like, you need to rein it in because like some of it's not working, and they were right in the short term. But I always felt like, well, if I just keep going, eventually, like all that stuff that I can't do now,
yeah,
I'll be able to do. Because a lot of singers sound good because they've kind of just figured out what they can't do, and then they just rein everything in and just work within narrow boundaries.
their strengths, they work on their strength only. Yeah,
you know, and that can be good. It's like, you know, if you get a guitar player that, you know, only plays at the bottom of the neck, like, you know, they're a good rhythm player or something, but like, you know, they've not really got much beyond that. It's there's nothing wrong with it. It's totally cool, and in a sense, it can be, you know, in terms of performing songs, ideally, you know, you might have a few parts of a song that are a little bit out of your comfort zone, but 90% of it really should be if you want to connect with an audience. When I was doing stuff, it was like 80% of the song was outside of my comfort zone, so it would always just be.
Well, that's you probably have like the same thirst for knowledge that I do. Like, this whole thing's more of like a learning and understanding experience of like of yourself. I mean, I don't know if for you, but for me it is, and I want that mix. I want the whole thing, dude. I want like 3 octaves or 4. Like, I want that. And like, I see these things and I'm like, okay, so why can't I do it? I'm thinking about it, not from like getting down on myself, just like, okay, I hear the sound that they're making, and like, I just need to find that. I want to find it, but I'm not sure what limitations are there in, because it's muscular, right? Like, I can put like a stick or a pen or something on here and play the note. Like, it doesn't matter if it's my finger, that it's a muscle, but with the vocal cords, it's like all muscle. So I'm like, okay, so what am I doing? What's the thing? I try go, I try goo, I try mum, I try these different things, and I'm like, what is the thing that is preventing this? And also, like, I record myself a lot, and that, by the way, that program's unreal. Like, that Sing and See software, that's unreal, because like I literally can see if I'm on pitch.
And talking that closure you have, mum, 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 mum. That closure is the closure that you'd have in mix. So like, basically, when you take up sound, but so it's mum, 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 mum. You basically just take that closure through the bridge. So it's as simple as that. When we do the light stuff, it's just gradually giving you some references so that you have some sense of where you need to go, because the old habit was push.
Yes. So, and on Wicked Game, I was definitely, it wasn't all easy. Like, there was definitely some strain in the center, or like some stranglehold in there. Like,
the recording sounds good though. The recording
thank you.
Sounds good, and we've had it better. You know,
yes.
And, I'm sure if you'd done it a month ago, 2 months ago or something, when you were struggling more, like that, it would have been more kind of pulled up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm really, really happy with the progress. It's just that I'm like on this search, and like I want to like comprehend. Obviously, clearly, the majority so far of the session has been questions and you know, conversation. So anyway,
yeah, let's get some technical.
Yeah, let's get some stuff into it. I appreciate the answers, dude.
You can even do that here. You can go, okay. Go 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 go. So start it in falsetto, even though we're in chest. Go 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 go. And then take it to closure. Add some closure progressively as you lean into the go.
And by the way, just a question: when you said so G, one time you told me to make that G very, very short. The shorter, I guess, the better, or
kind
more
of snappy, like so that the G, like it helps if I go it brings the chords together.
My
the only
question
way
is,
to make that sound is by bringing the chords together, so it helps you get some closure.
Yes. Now, why not K? Why not K?
Yeah, you could do K.
Oh, so like ko ko ko, ki ki ki, ku ku ku, like that's.
You find key easier. ki 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 ko ki 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 ko 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 ko. Let's do that because it might help you because the key it doesn't put, there's not as much stoppage. So for you it might be good because with that G you want to clamp down on it more. That ki 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 it gives a bit more air, which may work. So it might be a good idea. Let's try it. Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Yeah. Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Good. We're gonna keep it real low. Ki 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 ko 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 ko. So the volume's not really gonna grow that much, but the closure will do.
Ki 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 ko ko ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Good job, mate. Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Good job. Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
That'll be nice and free. Ki ki ki, falsetto right there.
Ki ki ki.
Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko.
Yeah,
Ki ki
there.
ki ko ko ko. Ki. This damn
You
D.
there? That key's right. You're in the right spot. So you go into the as you can go as you make the transition. It's going to be quite subtle, yeah. If it has to be like, let it be like this. Ki 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 ko 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 ko. Just to start finding it. So get back to that key and just find a tiny bit more bite.
Ki ki ki. Is that good? Ki 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 ko ko. Ki 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 ko 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 ko.
Hang on a sec. Have a listen. Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko.
Yeah, almost. Let's come down. Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko. Ki 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 ko.
There, that one. Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko.
There. Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 ko. Ki 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 ko.
Good. Just touch it for a second. As soon as you get to one of the things you'll find is if you think you've got it, you'll tend to clamp down on it. So don't dwell on it too much. Just hit it for a second and then get off of it again.
Can you give me an example of that? Hitting it for a second and getting off it.
I just mean like ki 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 ko.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Ki ko. Sounds. Go.
Ki 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 ko.
Ki 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 go 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 go.
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 There. Ki 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 go 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 go.
Ki 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 go 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 go. Ki 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 go 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 go.
Yeah, good job, mate. Ki 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 go 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 go. In each one, you're just looking for the same attack on each pitch as you go down.
Ki 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 go 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 go.
Good. Ki 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 go 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 go.
Ki 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 go 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 go.
Let's try again with that one. Kind of slipped out a bit. Ki 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 go 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 go. So the first one, when you transition, just keep it falsetto, and then let the vowel do the work as you lean in more. So cool. Just gently lean on it. It feels like this. It feels real kind of like it's the best way I can explain it. Like when I put the pressure on, it's like it's just a bit more each time. It's not like
on the C. I felt on the C there was kind of like no. So when I just did that there, that was wrong. That was not what I felt there. So if I'm going like if I'm going like that, that was wrong. When we first did it and we did the C and the C sharp, it was like it felt like locked in. No, fuck, it's slippery. It's elusive, right? Like, but I had it and I didn't feel that
on the other ones. Yeah, you've got it on the other ones. It just doesn't feel like it yet.
Oh, okay.
You do. Just keep working on it. Because we're working on this. We're working on this. Yeah, I'll have a look at the camera.
Yep.
We're basically trying to teach you to very subtly manipulate these muscles that close the chords. The more subtlety and refinement you have with these closure muscles, the more chance you've got of finding mix. Because mix is this middle ground where the chords are fully closed, but they're just closed enough. It's not like it's like go. It's just a bit more. So we've got to learn to manipulate those muscles subtly, just like on the guitar. We haven't got big movements. That's what we've currently got. When you do the you got like go. Their fingers are all over the place,
like flapping all over. Yeah. So
that's literally what's happening when it transitions badly. When it transitions right, there's a subtlety to it.
I love this. I think this is where the answer is, dude. Like, because in C and C sharp, I didn't have what I felt today. I didn't have that before. And so if I have it on C and C sharp, then there's no reason why I can't do it on D, D sharp.
You do it on any pitch, yeah. Go for it. Yeah, that was actually good.
That was good, right? Yeah, I felt that thing.
There you go. Let that first one be falsetto.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh man, it's so slippery. But I did it before. I'm happy that I did that before.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's do something broader, because sometimes like getting really like, if it gets like too detailed like that, it can start to get frustrating. So we'll another way we can work at just keeping compression consistent is just doing it on a longer scale. Let's try and do this. We're gonna do a at talking volume.
Yeah. Okay.
So just start with this when we go
Yeah.
Still a bit heavy, but yeah. I went yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's a big difference between that and yeah. Do both.
Yeah.
That is like, if I go yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I go yeah. The difference between those two is literally the difference between massively loud mix and like medium volume mix. Just that difference in terms of the compression difference. That's the only difference there really is.
So in the one where I went yeah, that one will equal what?
Kind of just medium volume.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to get across is, if I go to let's do this. Yeah. And the first thing I get back is yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's like, whoa. It's like the difference to me is massive, but currently it's like, so I'm just trying to communicate to you, like, we got to like really pay attention to just generally, if we're doing an exercise like this, yeah, 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 or an exercise like this, yeah, 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 yeah. They're
I'm
very
not ready. I'm not ready for the big
no,
full.
you may be, but they're very different exercises. Does
Okay.
that make
Okay.
sense? That's
Yes.
what I'm going
Yes.
to say.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very different. So we'll do this. Yeah, 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 yeah. See if you can match that. It's talking volume really, and it's just saying yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
just go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So we'll keep going up because once we get through the bridge, you'll find it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's a well executed exercise. All we need is a tiny bit more edge at the top, but we'll probably find more of that as we go through. Yeah, 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 yeah. If you have just a bit more, tiny bit more kind of croakiness just through
Yeah.
the top of the exercise, you'll find that you get that edginess, but not. It's very small. It's just a tiny difference.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing. I hear your air pressure. That was awesome. I hear your air pressure going like the whole time. Like basically, it's like it's consistent.
Yours is
So
good, mate. That last one's good. It's pretty easy for you as well. There's a lot. All we've got is if we're yeah, 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 yeah. There's a little bit of a loss of compression, but as you get better at keeping that compression more consistent, you'll find that connects up well.
is it
So
me
we've got
pulling back? Like, am I? Is
no,
that me like
no,
releasing
it's
the
good.
pressure?
How you? It's good. But you know the exercise where we have
Mm-hmm.
this one that helps you work on that closure. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll combine both in a sec. Let's just do
Okay.
one more of these. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good job. And one more.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now do that one. And again, keep it nice and easy, but make sure you've got nice clear stoppage.
Okay.
And again. See if you can do it without the stoppage now, just on the hum. I'll try the yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
See how it's closer now, yeah?
It's messed up, man. This is madness.
Now do all three again.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that once you mastered these three exercises, you'll be able to keep that edge through all three of them. Just that little bit of edge. Yeah, it's not much different, but there's still, you feel that at the top of the yeah, it kind of loosens up just a touch. So as you become more aware of that, you'll be able to address it more.
Okay.
More. Go for it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, dude. Very good.
Yeah, I'm noticing different. Like I'm noticing the setting was the same throughout those exercises. Cool.
Okay, you had edge all the way through. And then the only difference between that and full out mix is just a different starting point, really. You would just start from yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's not much different from there, yeah. You just lean into it more and more, but the basic premise, like the foundations of it, is exactly the same as what you're doing right now.
Cool. I like this 3 exercise thing. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good. And that little, there's a kind of a, I can see sometimes, you know, in the middle of that, just on the third exercise, there was a tiny bit of, you know, that old tendency wanting to come in, but you're dominating it much more now. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of it kind of, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but like, and again, it's referencing that video and what I just heard from you singing, that it's like this whole way through, even if that's not what it sounds like, but it's like this sort of like all the way through the same push.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, Brett says it like this, like each pitch has equal ultimacy. It's got the same amount of pressure as you go through each pitch. So if you start with a lot of pressure, you take that pressure through. If you start with not much, you take that through. But when there's that loss of pressure, when we have like what do you do? Nay, nay, na na na, nay, 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 nay. We have a loss of pressure or a build up of pressure. Nay, 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 nay. Then it's not really going to lead us.
So the starting point is very, very important. Then what I start with, like if I start with too little,
through the exercise,
if I start with too little and I want more, like during, because I realize that I started with too little, I'm gonna fuck up the exercise, right? But if I start with the correct one and focus on maintaining that, my chances of success are better.
Yeah. And then as you change the starting point, you change the whole exercise, basically. Especially, so it's not that it's wrong. It's that, you know, it's changing the compression levels, fine. But you've got to learn to do it on one compression level first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's exactly it.
As you get better and you understand what you're doing, you can change the compression. You hear it all the time, you know, when on that Chris Isaak song, when in the chorus, when he does the I wanna fall in love. It's like Chesty at the bottom and he flips up like a yodel, basically.
Yeah, totally.
That's a shifted compression, but it's a deliberate one.
It's deliberate for sure. Right now, it's like, I think the danger is that I'm like a preschooler in a university class, and like they're throwing all these concepts at me. I'm not ready to like process them all. So like if the simple concept, like what you said there, where if you're like taking it through, or that each note gets the same thing, if I just focus on that, develop one level of compression, then if that develops one level of compression, that makes sense to me, because that means I'm just going to focus on that level of compression, or at least for this kind of exercise, this triple whammy here. I feel whatever it is that I think I should be feeling.
And what was it that we were just doing? I'm
trying. So we're going to and then to the and then to the yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it again. So and as you get more comfortable with it, you can you know, you could say, right, I'm going to I am going to take a bit more closure through there, but it's just going to be a touch more. Let's do that again. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Sorry. Let me do that again. Yeah.
That's fine like that. So sometimes as well, you have to just give yourself the ability to, you know, mine, because I've been doing it so long, it's much more likely to be more perfectly connected.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So allow it when when it's not exactly as you want, just go through it still, because it's just the learning of that refinement, which will just come in time because you've got the right approach there. You just need to keep doing it, and your brain will, the part of your brain that needs to work harder in order to refine will grow over time.
Because the other things are automatic. I'll like start to nitpick, or not nitpick, but like refine those. Yeah. Jesse called it, like, I think it was that like some name of the closure muscles that end up happening. But the exercise itself keeps the setting, and then you sort of refine from there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The cricoids are going to stretch the chords, and the arytenoids will close them. So it's learning to coordinate those arytenoid muscles in a really refined way.
Yes.
Do it now. Let's do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job, man. And again.
Yeah.
Good. Now do the same, but try to do a y on the last exercise. The darker vowels are going to be a bit trickier for you. It's good. And again. Good. And again.
Shit, sorry.
Good. And over time, that little kind of that bit in the middle where the old habit wants to creep in just for a second, it will get smaller and smaller,
okay.
Right? And then it will just disappear. So you can just ignore that, because the thing is, you're forcing yourself to take on the new habit.
Yes.
And that old habit will fight for a while, but it will just gradually let go as your brain realizes that connection that's wired in needs to just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I know that, like, I'm okay with that for sure. As long as I know that what I'm doing is not like flipping into falsetto and not going to lead me to the result that you're telling me like is possible. Like, because when I'm practicing it, if I know that, because it's such a subtle difference. If I'm going like with a big flip, if I know that, or when I'm doing what I did right there in that exercise, the reason why I didn't care that much about that flip is because I'm trusting that that is kind of different than the flipping, and it's got my voice in the right setting, and that's all I needed to know. Like, before we even met, that's what I needed to know, that that is correct. And if that's the case, I'm super disciplined. Like, I'm gonna stick with that and see it through. I just need to know that it's the right thing.
Or the one of the big, well, can't I say big secrets? I might have told you this before, but if you can really get it into your head that great singers are breaking, they're just so comfortable with breaking that you don't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. They haven't learned some magic trick to get around the break. They're just so comfortable breaking or releasing, basically, that they allow it to happen in the way it's supposed to, mechanically. So you don't hear it, and people think, wow, it's so connected. But it's really that they're just allowing the voice to release as it wants to. So think of it like that. When you're doing these exercises, you're not going into falsetto. You're just letting the voice thin out as it wants. Okay. And when you do full voice, it's the same. You've still got to have those same rules apply. So as you're working on it now, you're cementing in your mind that is what mechanically needs to happen.
Well, yeah. That
every single time, regardless of the sound. There's no point where you're going to be singing and you'll need to not let that happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure, dude. For
all
sure.
sounds, those rules apply. So in that respect, you actually need to just keep allowing your voice to break all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually there'll be like no sense of transition at all, which is what natural singers have, and people that understand this principle. You know, some of the worst singers are singers that have been trained to, you know, do some funky stuff to get through the break. You know, they'll be like something where the vowel shifts and everything changes, and it's like they think that they need to do something to get around the break, rather than like you're doing there, just yeah. They're not doing anything apart from just allowing the voice to do what it wants to do.
And what's added to make those higher notes? What's added to the, I mean, no pun intended, but what's added to the mix to make it sound fuller? Like, is it that those muscles that bring the thing together?
Yeah, you got a bit more. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Do that.
Hoo, 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 hoo.
Yeah, well, that first one was real good. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Hoo, 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 hoo.
Yeah. That'll be your starting point for more of a mixed sound. So let's do a few of those. Do the same exercise. We do yeah. Just start the yeah from a slightly thicker spot.
Okay.
Just a little bit more. See what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good first attempt. Let's try again. See if you can take that yeah. That part of it goes all the way through the exercise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That'll do it for now. It's good.
Yeah.
Keep going, dude. It's good.
Yeah. I felt, yeah. There's like a buzz. When I get it, I go, zzz, that's what I feel.
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep going. Over time, this will refine out. Just keep working on it.
Yeah. Fuck. Sorry, man. I'm on the first ones. I was getting like really excited, so I was just trying to like contain my excitement. So I think I like ran out of breath.
That top note was good. Then the one you stopped on, you actually had it nice.
Okay, because I'm feeling on the onset. I'm feeling. I kind of know. I think what's creating that success. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's come down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. You notice, go back and listen to these as well. You notice on the way down, it's connected and you've got a chestier sound through there. On the way up, it does glitch a touch, but that's just the old habit. Once that dwindles away, think about it like this. Once that old habit dwindles away, think about what's going to be there to replace it once that little bit of pull comes.
It's exciting, man. It's really exciting because I feel now I'm like aware of when I do it right in almost real time. You know,
Yeah.
it's really fucking cool, man. So yeah, okay, cool, awesome. Let's keep going.
Mhm. And you notice like we're well above that, you know.
Oh yeah, well above D.
The middle C's and D's we're well above. So, you know, it's you just know when that goes wrong, you know it's just the old habit getting in the way.
Yes.
You know, it's just going to take time for the new one to cement, but also around that area because that's particularly where it was a problem.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. Really use that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel when I do it right, I feel like I feel like there's like I almost feel them connect. Yeah.
Clunk in like yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm taking that E all the way through. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm starting to get it, dude. I even hear in your voice, I hear like compression rather than pulling up. I hear this, like the push horizontally. Fuck, that's cool, man.
Go for it.
Okay. With the 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good job, mate. And the more you can really take, so you commit to the release, just like you are, the more you can take that kind of thickness through the chesty part of it or the closure. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's so cool.
You got to take that through, but
Yeah.
you've just got to use the first two to give your mind the reference with for the release.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good. Really like be bold with the third exercise.
Okay.
Once you got the release, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Have a listen. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That was good, right? On the third one?
Yeah, it was good, mate. It was very good.
I felt a clunk.
Yeah, as you get, did you notice how? What you'll find is you can commit to that compression and take it all the way through as long as you obey the rules that the first two exercises are within. And at first, you might find it gets a little bit airy at some points, but it doesn't really matter that much because the direction you're going is correct. So as long as you just keep going that way,
dude, I'm so fucking stoked, man.
Yeah, over the next couple of weeks, you'll find that that will start to lock in more, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I understand that."
Well, even like what I understand, I got to tell you, that staccato, that was seriously a godsend, man. Like that one made a lot of things click. And today, it's got to be. I mean, those videos that you sent me really clarified things. That Jesse video with the consistent air. I feel different on the like I'm aware of another layer to the sensation that is like consistent. I hear it now when you're doing it. And also this sort of clunk that we've got going on that yay or the yeah. What's the vowel? Sorry. Yeah or yay.
We kind of changed it a few times, and we did too. I'm not
whatever this last one was.
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
It can always be like a yeah. Yeah. Because when the mouth's closed, like yeah and yeah are kind of the same, but it's just the mouth doesn't open as much. Yeah.
And I feel when I feel that clunk. See, now that I know that what I start with, I take through the whole exercise. I can't wait to I'm gonna practice this for like a couple more hours. Like I'm fucking excited because I think that the light bulb for that mixture, that recipe there makes a lot of sense, man. And I can,
Yeah,
and so like I said, in real time, I almost know when I'm gonna do it correctly now. Like I know that it's happening. And that's fucking, dude, like to have that happen within, like a month is really, really amazing because I've never had that before when doing vocal stuff ever.
do you feel how, all that's all the stuff that we're doing, it all comes together,
Yeah.
as in there's not this big divide between what we think of as these big massive sounds and the small, because people
It's
are like,
finding
well,
the
how
simplicity
does
in the
that,
complicated.
it's quite simple really, but it's just like you have to approach it subtly and in the right direction, and accept that over time, once that improves, it will get more connected. You'll be able to lean on it more and more and more, and then all of a sudden you'll be singing like crazy loud and crazy full, but it will be within the correct rule set and not just
Yeah, no, I I hear you, dude.